Hello, welcome back to a new video. Today we'll be talking about missiles and Trailmakers, something that I found to be a very interesting topic really. So we're going to talk about a few different things, starting with modded missiles, because a little while ago people found a way to mod tracking missiles into Trailmakers, something that hadn't really been done before. Sadly, this was being exploited in races, and then the devs decided to encrypt the DLL files, so you can't mod them, because, well, it was also already breaking the EULA, so it was already like kind of a problem. It was not completely legal. But yeah, the cheaters, it's now impossible. It worked using angle sensors, right? So you'd have an angle sensor instead of the little thing pointing up. It detects where a player was, and it would point towards the player, and then you could get an input and an out, or you could get an output from that and put it into like a hinge or a helicopter engine, so you can use the torque to change the direction of the missile. And I'll show like a few GIFs of this and a blueprint of how this actually works. I can explain a little better with that. Yeah, it would use angle sensors that would detect where the player is, which is a very creative idea, and it's something I would actually really like to see in the real game. But, you know, vanilla, not using mods, because, well, I would also really like to see the modding improve, because it's pretty limited right now. Because, you know, this wasn't actually possible using actual mods. This was modding the DLL files, like the actual game files, which is against the terms of service by almost all games, really. But yeah, the credits to Sabastian, Blocky, and Blockmaster, because they helped me with the information about this, because I didn't really know much about this before I started doing some research. I also want to talk about some actual designs that are real, and the problems is with those, because there's some vanilla designs, so there's quite a few problems with those. Because we have to use normal sensors, right? They detect everything that isn't air. So they will, or water, that is. They don't detect water. So they will detect the ground, they will detect hills and stuff, they will detect trees. And less likely to actually detect something that we want to detect, which would be a different vehicle. It will also detect the vehicle you're in yourself. The sensors actually only have a 50-meter range, which makes it pretty much useless. And getting it to actually do some tracking is really difficult, especially if you want to keep the size to a minimum and actually have it resemble a missile, right? Because the thing will be bigger than a plane. What is kind of possible is against boats, because you're over water, so they won't detect anything unless there is a boat, and then it would just go down. But you can't really have it go, like, you can't have the yaw and stuff. It's not going to be too advanced. Technically, you could make a glider thing that would point down when it goes over a boat. And same kind of goes for anti-tank, but only on flat ground, and it would have to hold a certain altitude to detect something that's below it. So that's kind of possible, but very difficult, really. Here we see the missile they were using in the video. So let's just take a look around for how it works. So these are the angle sensors that are detecting where the player is, right? These go into the heli engine, make it move towards the player. It's just this, yeah, this distance sensor just triggers everything immediately. Because because it spins, it only needs one helicopter engine for rotation. This works pretty much instantly, so every time it spins, it tilts towards the player. I think it kind of works like that. which makes it bit more compact, and these go into the explosives. So these make sure it detonates when it's near the plane it's trying to destroy, right? Within 2 meters. Because it can't hit it straight on, that's just too difficult, I think. Don't know why there's a gimbal in this thing, because there's no lift, I guess. Kind of makes sense, because it's pretty heavy. Yeah, that's pretty much how it works. This is the same thing you see flying in all the GIFs I have in the background. I should have in the background. I haven't started editing, so when you see this, I have a fake plan, but it's nothing special. Let's spawn it in, see what it does. Absolutely nothing. It just wants to go up, because it's now just normal angle sensors. I can't see it anymore. And if it sees me, yeah, it explodes. That's just what it does. Alright. Back to the rest of the video. Now, in the future, I'd like to see like an actual feature by the devs, right? Because they are working on an update that has quite a few plane things in it. And I think it would just fit really well. Next to that, they are also adding a new map, which is pretty big from what I've seen. They are adding like a bunch of plane paths, which and like the smaller thruster, which would really fit well with missiles, right? And I'm not even asking for an actual missile. I'm just asking for something that can detect where a player is, or like a flare block or something. So kind of like an angle sensor, though I would prefer it to be a little smaller, right? So it doesn't, you know, make the missiles really big, because ideally I would want a missile to be like 1 block by like 6 or 8 or something, you know, so it's like a line. Because if you look at a picture of an actual missile, that's pretty much what they look like, apart from maybe Phoenix missiles, glide bombs, I guess. Those aren't missiles, but kind of resemble one. I think it would be really fitting in the next update, and I think there would be some possible new parts, like special fins. So we don't, because the actual fins in the game are really big right now. Some smaller ones would be really nice for this. I would also say that like a player detection block would need like a cone in front of it that would detect players and not be like perfectly precise behind it and next to it, because that way you can't avoid something. I think it would just have to detect if there is a player there, or like in that cone, something like that. That's what I would do. But yeah, I'd say it would be like a 1x1 block or something. It would have to be quite small, right? And that's just because it would be more fitting. There isn't really a different way to do it, I think, because if you make it too large, it's just not going to work. And yeah, I really want to stress again that this would really fit with the next update, if you ask me, because if you just look at the stuff they've leaked, it's all just plain things, and well, not combat things. That's a different point. They have said before they don't want to add too much combat stuff, because actually I don't know why. Just it's not their vision for the game, I think. But on the other hand, the player base is kind of always suggesting combat things, so it would really be fitting. Or really be cool, because like, especially if you look at my builds, I think 90% is combat based, and if you look at the like, or in the subreddit or in the Discord, like, it's all combat things. It's all military vehicles, with a few exceptions of like race cars. Yeah, that's pretty much already it. What I wanted to cover, which I've done fairly quickly. I didn't expect this to be so short, but I would like to ask people who review this to not spam the suggestion channel in the Discord or spam the devs with like requests for this kind of stuff, because I know some people might be hyped and stuff, and I don't want to bother the devs too much. That's just not going to work. Yeah, thanks again to Sabastian, Blocky, and Blockmaster, and so other people in the Discord. I'm probably going to show some little building tricks for missiles somewhere in this video, but I'm not recording those now. So if it's a little weird, that's why. Yeah, I want to say thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.